America's next big franchise, sharing strategies to help businesses grow.
Welcome to the America's Next Big Franchise podcast with our host, Rick Grossmann, author of Entrepreneur Magazine's Franchise Bible and founder and CEO of Franchise Bible Coach. Now, here is your host.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the next episode of America's Next Big Franchise, where we meet founders and people that are just thriving in the franchise world. So I'm really excited today. We have an amazing guest, one of my favorites. I'm a little bit partial because she's also a client. So full disclosure. So we have Kristen Herzog here from The Perfect Dose. Hey, Kristen.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, we're going to have a good time. Lots of fun today. So, when we started America's Next Big Franchise as a spinoff of Franchise Bible Coach, the podcast, and a spinoff of Franchise Bible, the book, what my whole mission in the professional world is to really bring new concepts to the marketplace and really give people the option and the opportunity to start their own businesses. And boy, I'm excited about this one. I think we're going to have a barnstormer, as my dad would say. So, Kristen, let's go ahead and start with just a little bit about your background and how you kind of came to this point as a professional.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm Kristen Herzog. I am a board certified nurse practitioner. I have been in aesthetic medicine for now over 8 years, which is so wild. I started as an ER nurse, got my nurse practitioner license, and then decided I was done with trauma and wanted to start a med spa. So here we are today, 3 locations later, and now franchising.
That's very cool. And did you always have an entrepreneurial spirit, or did that come along later? What was the
Yeah.
linchpin there?
So my mom told me that when I was young, like 6 years old, I started a nail salon business from my house. So I had this like little caboodle and I would go and give family members manicures and pedicures. And I had pretty steep rates. I charged like $20 at the time.
Oh,
So
boy.
yeah. So I think it was always in me. I always had that drive and hunger, but I never imagined Perfect Dose would be where it is today.
That's amazing. And what was the inspiration to get into aesthetics?
Yeah. So aesthetics for me, what I wanted as a nurse was 2 things. I wanted to be able to make a difference and really help others. That's why I became a nurse. That's my passion and my purpose in life. It's to leave people better when they
Mhm.
leave me than when they met me. And so that was number 1. Number 2, I love a good challenge. So the ER I thrived in for a while, and then I was ready for something different. And when I learned the intricacies of facial anatomy, it intrigued me. So I figured I can help people look and feel their best. And also, it was a really cool challenge to understand facial anatomy and how things work together to be able to
Mm.
make something amazing.
Yeah, and I bet the outcomes, the happy endings, were probably a lot more frequent than in the emergency room, I would guess.
Oh, 100%. I'm
Yeah,
excited to come to work every day.
yeah. That's a definite benefit. People love to feel good and happy about what they do every day. And I'm sure you had a lot of really great moments in the ER, but when you can help people feel amazing, that's probably very fulfilling. And that's something that franchise owners will get to experience down the road when they're in that business. The franchise owners can get out of the business they're in now and start something totally new and make people wonderful and beautiful. And that's exciting. And so we're going to get into that a little bit later. But when did you and your husband sit down and think, this could be bigger than Phoenix and this could be something that can grow?
Yeah, so actually, this started in 2020 in COVID. I had just expanded from my little salon suite to a bigger location. And of course, I signed the lease when everybody ran out of toilet paper. So I was
Mm,
like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do?
Mhm.
And when everyone's business was shutting down, we started booming. Everybody was
Mm.
seeing their faces on Zoom. And I
Oh.
realized Botox is a need, not a want, and that
Mm.
we had just entered the very beginning of such an incredible industry.
Mm. Yeah, that's that I think that COVID was kind of a defining moment for a lot of people.
Yeah.
We've had, people on the podcast and, clients and people I've met where it was either a negative experience or a positive experience. Of course, overall it was negative, but it changed business models a lot. And it really did bring people to the forefront of how they look too, because we're all on Zoom all day long. And it really, when we first started doing virtual discovery days, for instance, it was kind of an unknown thing. It was before COVID. And now your grandmother does, 5 Zoom calls a day with their doctors. And so it's very common, not your grandmother per se, but you know what I mean, right? And so
Yes.
yes, everybody's doing it. And that's really an important factor. So, what did the very first location, when you walked into that blank slate and you visualized it, first thing I realized when I walk in is it's just luxury. And I think you're carrying that, well, I know you're carrying that through the brand. So when you walked into that space with Stephen, what was that initial vision you had?
Gosh, oh my gosh. I remember walking in and just feeling overwhelmed and excited because prior to Perfect Dose, you really had to choose between either going to like a typical medical office that feels, boring for lack of better words,
Mm,
but you want to go
clinical.
to trusted clinical providers, or you went to
Mm,
these fun places, but you don't really know if these people have been properly trained. And so I wanted to create a space where it felt like you're walking in your best friend's house and leaving with a
mm.
Louis Vuitton bag, meaning like
Oh,
you're
yeah.
welcomed, you're excited, and then you know that you're getting the best possible outcomes because all of our providers are highly trained, highly specialized, and that's the Perfect Dose way. So, walking into the empty space, I was just so excited because I could see all the rooms filling, and I
Mm,
actually didn't anticipate it to be filling as fast as it did. We've almost outgrown this space in 3 years, which is crazy.
mm,
I signed a 10-year lease.
mm. Well, you fill them up and then you open another one, right? Now you're up
Yes,
to 3 locations, which is
exactly.
very exciting. Yeah, well, it's a great story, and and we evaluate numerous business models and brands throughout the year, and I can usually tell when I walk in, and when you have the professional experience of walking through your location, it's very clear that this is a brand that needs to be in every community across the country, because just think of the outreach of all the people you can help when you have those locations across the country. And very exciting. You're looking at right now a vision, and it'll be fun to watch that fill up with all the people that are out there in the listeners and beyond. So very exciting. So, what's something about those early days that makes you laugh now? What's one of
Oh
those
my
stories? It's hard
humble
to narrow them
beginning,
down.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the times where Steven, my husband, and I were literally passing out business cards at the mall. We're like dropping
Oh.
them in different stores. I was just trying to meet everybody and tell them about Perfect Dose. And so we look back and just laugh on that versus now our marketing is completely streamlined and so much
Hmm.
different than it was back then.
Yeah, so I love those founder stories because when you're unknown, you kind of do anything to get the word out, right?
Yeah.
But now with a solid marketing plan, both local store marketing for the franchisees and now franchise recruitment, looking for the right franchise owners is a wonderful plan, and it really does work. So that's kind of the engine that makes the locations work. So, what was the biggest mistake you made that turned into one of those great lessons when you
Yeah.
were working through
So
those?
If I really think on this, I think the biggest mistake that I made was thinking that I could do it all. I feel like that's
Mm,
a kryptonite of every entrepreneur that's like, I'll do it faster, I'll do it better. And
mm,
now looking back, that's not true. If I didn't have my team, I would have nothing. And so, really learning how to delegate and elevate and optimize systems so that we could really, really grow and the business
mm,
didn't have to rely on just me allowed us to grow so
mm,
much faster. So, I was almost my own bottleneck in my
mm.
business back in the early days.
Yeah.
And looking back, I'm like, wow, that was not how you run an effective, scalable business.
Yeah. Well, we see that a lot too. Big visionary leaders, if they don't allow their team to come alongside, they can kind of get stuck in too many decisions. I've seen that quite a lot. So it was good that you recognized that early enough so you could put the team to work, and your team's really an impressive team all the way through. So um, let's talk about the patience. And when you think about a franchise, you find the right owners, you hire the right people, they train their staff, you have all the support from the corporate office, and then there's that community that doesn't necessarily know the brand yet, and you start with kind of what that ideal candidate matrix is, who those people are that desperately need the help from your franchise location. So when you get down to the basics, when you see that there's other med spas in the area and other providers, what is that differentiator that people need to know about and will experience when they come into your location?
Yeah, so I could answer that in one word. It's personalization. This
Mm,
industry is filled with cookie cutter injectors, cookie cutter techniques. Like you come in and, for example, you think you want Botox, then that provider just gives you Botox. But at
mm,
Perfect Dose, we personalize everything from the second you walk in to the minute you leave our door. So we create custom treatment plans, we tailor our treatment plans to you. So you may come in thinking, I want Botox, but you're not a great candidate for it. Maybe based on your goals and your anatomy, you're a better candidate for something else. So I
mm,
have worked really hard to create these training protocols so that every provider at Perfect Dose can execute a custom treatment plan that's best for the patient.
mm. That's a good point because I've seen a variety of different types of providers even that say they provide Botox, but when you really think about it, I don't think they're really looking at the whole picture, right? They're just doing a piece of it, and they may not even really be trained in it. And you're a national trainer, right? So
Yes.
you gotta brag a little bit about yourself and tell them a little bit
Yeah.
about your training that you do.
So I want to first start by saying that the general population just doesn't understand how difficult and intricate delivering injectables really is
Mm.
because a nurse can go get certified in Botox in 2 days. That does not
Mm.
mean they have any background understanding on what to do for the patient, on how to give the best results, which is why sometimes aesthetics we get a bad rep because you see, the bad, the good you shouldn't see. You shouldn't be able to identify someone who's had filler because the best results are
Mm.
undetectable. So,
Mm.
as a trainer, a national trainer, I train for three of the top companies in aesthetics. So, I have lots of expertise in the industry and
Mm.
I see in real time that there's a gap. And so the gap is that providers don't have enough education. So it's my
Mm.
job to fill that gap, and having an expert like me involved in the franchise just really elevates Perfect Dose to a different level because you
Mm.
have somebody that is an expert and committed to good patient outcomes at the end of the day. That's what I'm here for.
Okay. That makes sense. And the franchise owners will have support and training, and they don't have to be the ones that are actually doing the service, right? So let's talk a little bit
Yes.
about that so people don't get confused.
Yeah, exactly. So everybody is trained. So as a franchisee, you can be a medical provider. You don't have to be a medical provider. You could be somebody that wants to start a business and leave a
Mm,
legacy for your family. And
mm,
what's really exciting about Perfect Dose and opening a Perfect Dose franchise is that we have created the blueprint for how to be successful, how to
mm,
hire, things to look for. We also have built-in training programs. So there's going to be a platform for continuing education for your providers. You won't have to worry, is my provider trained? If you follow our training platform, our manual, our guidebook, you will be able to rest assured that your providers are trained and able to execute the perfect dose way.
very nice. We're going to get into the more details on the franchise later, folks. So stay tuned because it's pretty exciting. But I did want to make that point so people weren't confused in the early part of the podcast. So, what do you think is the thing you keep hearing from clients as far as what they rave about?
Yeah, they rave about their experience because, like I said, the perfect dose way is you walk into your best friend's house. We know your
Hmm.
name, we know your trips, we make notes in the chart. So we understand a lot about you. It feels like we are friends. And so that's something our patients love. And we also, our relationship doesn't stop the minute you leave the door. We call
Mm.
all of our patients the next day to check on them. And we
I
have
like
this
that.
follow through where Perfect Dose is a community. It's not just
Mm.
a med spa, it's a place where people love to come and hang out. So they rave about
Awesome.
that. And then also the amazing outcomes because our providers have custom treatment plans. So patients literally walk out with the 1 year plan that's written
Mm.
out. They can
Right.
see everything January through December, what our
Mm.
recommendations are based on their goals. They get to leave with that. So it's not like you just come in for one treatment, you get your entire plan. So it's really a journey that we're on together, and our patients feel that and they love that.
Oh, wonderful. So let's talk a little bit about the different types of services because I think that the average person may not understand the depth and how many different things you can do because it's not just Botox. And tell them a little bit about that.
Yeah, so aesthetic treatments range. I always talk to patients about this. We talk about skin, muscle, bone, and fat because we age in multiple layers of our
Mm.
face. You don't just age in one layer. So we have different modalities for every layer. So, for example, for skin, we offer a variety of services from products that you can buy to use at home to facials to more aggressive chemical peels and lasers depending on your concern. So some people come in and they're concerned about wrinkles or acne or just overall dryness in their skin, things like that. So we
Mhm.
have services for the skin. And then it goes a little bit deeper because since we age in multiple layers, we address that in different ways. So we have products that stimulate your body's own natural collagen, which is incredible, something called Sculptra. Perfect Dose is the top sculpture provider in the nation because we provide a service that actually makes you younger. So collagen makes your skin bouncier, tighter, more refreshed. And then there's
Mhm.
Botox, which everybody really knows is the wrinkle relaxer. So that's very
Mhm.
exciting. And there's fillers, and fillers are used to enhance your own natural features. So people get confused because you think filler can do something bad, which in the wrong hands it can, but in the
Mhm.
right hands, it can simply restore what was there before. And
Mhm.
so you leave looking and feeling like a better version of you. Our goal is never to change you, it's to enhance you. So it's really exciting, all the tools in their toolbox that we have for
Mhm.
everybody.
Wow. And men too.
Yes. So men actually are my favorite clients because their
Mhm.
wives or girlfriends like drag them in the door. But then once they're there, they literally are like, okay, sign me up. I need this. I have a story. So my husband, Steven, I'm obviously make him get things. In our wedding vows, I told him that we would get old together, but never look it because I'll do our Botox for the rest of our lives.
Wonderful. That's so fun.
So I'm committed. And he came in and he was so nervous. And then once
Mhm.
we educated him on what we're actually doing, how these products work, that they're safe, that they can provide amazing outcomes, he was like, sign me up, give me 2 syringes. And now he actually texts me and is like, I need my Botox. So it's really, really cool.
Yes, he looks great. And we did
Yeah.
a discovery day together the other day, and he was bragging about that. So I think he's trying to pressure me to get in there. I don't know. I know
That
there's
Steven is the
fixing.
best hype man.
He is. He is. He's wonderful at that. So, what do you think is the biggest misconception with a med spa experience for men and women?
Yes, I think the biggest misconception is that you will look crazy and that you'll look unnatural and
Hmm.
you will leave looking like people know you did something. And
Okay.
again, that can happen when you go to an untrained provider. So, when you
Mm.
go to a place that has highly trained, specialized providers, you can be so confident that you're going to look natural. People should never,
Hmm.
ever know that you had something done. That's the key.
Okay.
It's the
Yeah.
undetectable look.
Very good. Yeah, because you see all these shows on TV, like, well, that's mostly
Botched.
botched. Yeah, that's mostly plastic surgery, but yeah, it's very subtle, right? What do you think that the treatment is? It has the biggest wow factor.
Yeah, so actually, Botox has the biggest wow factor
Mm,
because it works so quickly and so
okay.
great. It feels like you instantly see a reduction in wrinkles, you see a lift in your eyes. And so it has the biggest impact. It takes less than 10 minutes, there's no downtime. And actually, a fun fact is that it is the most studied drug in the world. So people are
Oh.
really nervous that oh my gosh, it's Botox, it's scary, it's bad for you, but it actually has more studies on it than like Tylenol, for example. So
Mm,
it's a really safe and steady drug.
okay. And tell them some of the things your staff does to make people feel comfortable. That's one thing I noticed. Just walking in, my wife came in for a facial and it was just very pleasant and the follow-up was wonderful. They called after, like you said, and it was just a really neat experience. So tell them a little bit about that.
Thank you. So we strive to be the best. And by the best, I mean luxury from the minute you walk in. That's when the patient experience begins. Every touch point matters. So our team is trained to greet patients, to bring them a water, to get them checked in and have conversations with them. Like I said, you want to walk like you're in your best friend's house. You don't want to walk in and nobody says hi to you for 5 minutes. Like everybody is dropping everything to say hi to you. And
Mm,
then when you come back into the room, it's all about education. And that is what Perfect Dose does different is we educate. So we sit down with our patients, we are talking to them about all of their treatment options. We are explaining everything and answering questions and then really customizing the plan. And so you really feel good. When you sit in the chair, you might be nervous, but by the time we're done having our conversation, you're like ready to go.
nice. Very cool. Okay, well, since I was talking to Steven about it, if I came in, what would you do? Fun, let's have a little fun. And
Wait, I love it.
don't say you're too old and ugly to fix, but
No, you look amazing. And I always tell people this, it is never too late to start. So, what I would recommend for you is something for your skin, like a cool peel laser. That's one of my
Mhm,
favorites because it's minimal downtime. It helps
mhm,
with fine lines, wrinkles, pores, texture. So, you're going to really feel refreshed at the end of it. It's not
mhm,
painful. You never want to start with a painful procedure your first time. So, we'll
mhm. No.
start you off really easy. And then, like
Mhm,
I said, Botox makes a big difference. And what's
mhm.
really cool is pending your goals and your concerns, we can really tailor your treatment. So you don't have to look like you've had anything done. We can simply soften lines and make you feel enhanced.
Well, that'll be good because my daughter gets really upset about my wrinkles. I'm almost 60, so we'll see. Make it.
Kids are the worst. They are so honest. You're like, what is going on?
Yeah, I know. No filter. No filter.
Mm.
I think she's afraid of me getting old, but so I think the cool peel thing is coming up here pretty quick, right?
Yes. So we're really excited. We're actually doing a fun launch party because we're launching this laser at our other 2 locations in Chandler and Peoria. So we're going to do fun demos live on patients. We're going to have raffles and really awesome discounts. So it's going to be really fun.
Oh, nice. Well, maybe we'll get started there. Maybe we'll do a before and after.
Yes,
So
we'll have to share that with everybody.
there you go. There you go. Transformation. Take me back 20 years. All right. So let's kind of move into the franchise space. For those, most of the people that listen are thinking about adding a business or making a transition, and that's a scary thing for some people. I talked to a lot of people recently. I do speak on these topics in the AI space, and a lot of people are concerned about being outplaced or having their job eliminated from AI. Spoke to somebody just a few days ago that is preparing for that by wanting to own a business, and that's the best insurance. I've been entrepreneurial my whole life, and I always say that some people have security in a job and a career, but the best security, in my opinion, is being the boss, right? Because if you own your own business, it's hard sometimes and it's great the other times. It's more great than difficult in the franchise world. It's even better because you get on the fast track. You are part of a brand. A lot of the struggles and challenges were faced by you as you started building this franchise or building this business. And then, of course, working with us to build the franchise over the last year. But all of that puts franchise owners on a faster, less expensive, safer track, and that's really the beauty of franchising. And I really have had pleasure in seeing a lot of business owners stand on their own 2 feet, provide for their families, put their kids through college, and really have the flexibility and the ability to be the boss and kind of run things the way that they want. And franchise, for those of you that are listening that are new to franchising, you're 100% owner in your business. You're the boss. The franchise team is here to help you and support you and teach you and coach you. And that's really what gets you on the fast track, plus the proven system and the marketing and everything else. So, let's talk about that transition that people are going to go through, because one thing that's wonderful about the perfect dose, there's a lot, but one thing that I think is really wonderful is it's safe from AI, right? You're doing hands-on treatments with people, the human touch, the heart, the everything is in that model, and so we're really safe in this world, right? So a successful location doesn't automatically make a successful franchise, right? So let's talk about the nuts and bolts of that. When did you realize, when you were sitting down with Steven and the kiddos and you were just talking about building that into a brand, building Perfect Dose into something that's beyond a local location? But one thing I noticed about you guys is that the brand was already awesome. We've built some things around it. But when we really feel like we're building a brand here?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. I feel like since the beginning, I had this desire to be the best. I'm like, I want Perfect Dose to be the best. I want it to be different. And so I had those ideals of creating a brand from the get go. But when we really realized that this was way bigger than we ever could have imagined, it was when we saw our growth. So seeing the growth year over year with Perfect Dose has been incredible. We've grown by 40% year over year, and that was organic up until now. So now that we have these systems and processes that you're talking about here, we've implemented all of that. Our marketing strategy is dialed in. The growth is going to be explosive. So that's when we realized, this is more than just a single location clinic. And when we spoke and talked about franchising, I always wanted Perfect Dose. I tell people, like, I want Perfect Dose to be nationwide. I want Perfect Dose to be the premier aesthetic destination for everybody. And like, I want to create an empire, right? We're building a Perfect
Mhm.
Dose community and empire. And when you have corporate locations, you're limited, right? You can maybe get 20, 30. We can create such a big impact with over 100 locations is the goal, and everybody can experience perfect dose. And when you come in, you will understand that our patients, our community, through our memberships, through they love it. And we're on social media, we do raffles, we have a really good patient community. And then the network of business owners. So franchise owners, you also are in this community, and we're in this together. We're
Mm.
here to grow it and take over, right? And it's really, really cool.
Right. You guys have been big thinkers from the beginning, and you can tell. One thing that kind of blew my mind, folks, when I was talking to Kristen in the early days was I said, tell me a little bit about your reviews and, how do you deal with reviews that aren't 5 stars? She goes, we just get 5 stars. That's just the standard. And I was like, well, what about the ones that aren't 5 stars? She goes, well, we just get 5 stars. And you just make sure, right, that everybody's a 5 star client and do whatever it takes. And you don't see that just about anywhere else. I have clients that have really high scores, but it's just the standard. I said you should write a book and call it 5 stars is the standard. I mean, that's just the way it is, right? So
Thank you.
I'll work on that with you. But the truth is that successful franchise companies, it's all about systems. And you mentioned systems a minute ago. So, what systems were the hardest to develop, do you think, when you were
Yeah.
creating the
So
company?
I really want to touch on that 5-star review first because
Oh,
it's
yeah,
something
can't pass
that
that up.
thank you. But people don't understand, even if you have an unhappy patient, like Perfect Dose isn't immune to that, right? Like we may not be the best fit for everybody, but we make it right. And that's the thing people don't understand. We go above and beyond. And really, it's that phone call, it's every touch point. So
Hmm.
we only get 5-star reviews because of our follow through and just the systems we've created around that. So, leading into your other question, everything's a system. Like we have a system for reviews, we have a system for our follow up. So we don't get a bad review because we've talked to that patient the second they've had a bad experience, right? If they did, which they shouldn't, but if
Rare.
they did,
Yeah,
we have
yeah,
that touch point immediately. And so people often forget the systems and they don't see that. And so we've optimized everything. There's a standard operating procedure for literally everything. Like our Cool Peel launch event, there's a procedure for what we do from when we market to the box that we have with like the tablecloths, all the things in it. So there's a system for everything. And you asked me what was the most difficult system.
yeah.
So, I mean, I think the most difficult thing for me was actually creating the systems in general. I wouldn't say that one was difficult, but
Mm.
as a entrepreneur, your brain doesn't think like that. Again, you have this like I can just do it all mindset. And so when we were building our systems and processes and really scaling Perfect Dose, I had to think like, okay, let me think about every single step of how I do this because it's so much more than like, oh, we're having a launch party. Every detail matters. The second the email blast goes out, it matters. The catering, the budget, like every detail. And so, what I would say is that the best thing about being a franchise owner is you get the systems. And that's something that just took me years to implement and it
Hmm.
bottlenecked me for so long. The growth that we had probably took 5 times longer than it would have if I would have had those systems in the first place. So none of
Yeah.
them are like one's hard. It's all hard. But if you have a playbook
Yeah.
and you follow it step by step, like it's plug and
Yeah.
play.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. A lot of times, a lot. I can't tell you how many times
Yeah.
our franchisors say, I wish I had a playbook when I started. It would have been a lot easier, but that's the way franchising works. The franchise owners always get the fast track, like I said, and you're right. And following the systems is really what makes this industry work. I say simple implementation of systems. That's it. I can walk into a business that's not a franchise, and within a few minutes, I can see a broken system. That's why the food came out cold, or that's why something didn't connect, or why there's trash on the floor outside, or whatever It's all the lack of systems or systems that aren't being properly implemented. So when you become a franchise owner, every single thing is a system, and it's easy to follow and it's easy to support. It's easy to train as long as it works. It's simple, right? So
Yes.
that's a huge benefit. You can see the money you save and the time you save
Oh my
and that.
gosh.
I
You
know.
know what? This even makes me think of it's like I learned this. Even answering the phone is a
Mm,
system. And the
yep.
amount of business you lose if you don't have a system in place for exactly how to answer that phone call, how to get that patient who's calling to convert to the chair, it's
Mhm.
crazy. So it's the things that people don't think of, we think for you. And that's the
Mm,
best benefit of being a franchisee is you just need to execute. You need to have a vision and you need to be like, yes, I want to be a business owner. I want to do this. And then you follow a guidebook. So you don't have to be
mhm.
like, are they answering the phone properly? You just make sure
Right.
that they execute the SOP, the standard operating
Right.
procedure. So I think that's just like one of the coolest things. I wish I would have understood franchising before.
Yeah. Yeah, we hear that a lot too. Well, since you mentioned the systems and the franchise owner being able to train the system and then hold staff members accountable and incentivize them, and all that's baked into the process and the leadership development plan. We always say that franchise, the equation we call it, is leadership, operations, marketing, and legal and finance and technology. That's how all businesses, if they do it right, have those all completely built out and trackable and support that can be done. So, if you're a franchise owner that has the dream to be a multi-unit owner, this is a perfect model for that. And I can't say that about every franchise. Some franchises, you have to be the one marketing it and selling and implementing and actually doing the fulfillment, right? If you like a home services or something like that. But in this industry or this business model, you can own multiple locations, and then you have the systems in place to be able to see that everybody's following through and taking good care of your clients, right?
Yeah, that's really the best thing. And I can assure you guys, we have worked so hard on optimizing these systems and also like it's what Perfect Dose is doing. So that's the cool part is you don't even just have to trust in the system of that we've created. You see it real time because my team they know it was funny. This is so random, but sometimes I go on tangents and we use
That's okay.
AI as a helper at Perfect Dose. And my operating manager, she was like creating something and she said the AI literally said, "We know that Kristen loves KPIs and systems. So here's
Right.
what we've created." I just
Yeah.
thought that was so funny.
Yes. Well, I speak on that and I also write articles and things about it and working on a book right now about it. But AI, if you fear it and you just don't use it, then it's a mystery. But if
Mhm.
you use it as a superpower, then it can really make things more efficient, make the humans more efficient and make them more profitable. So, yes, you included that in the program so that you can offer that support along the way and some really neat tools. So very excited
Mhm.
to see how that goes. So why franchising? Let's kind of move into that for a little bit here. So why is the aesthetics industry so exciting for an upcoming franchise?
Like I said with 2020, aesthetics isn't going anywhere. People are always going to want to look and feel their best. And there's that human component that you said AI we can use to optimize aesthetics, but it's not going to replace us. And so the aesthetic industry is growing and we're booming. And you can look at statistics, it's continuing to evolve and grow. We are going to get to a place where you're seeing med spas, perfect dose med spas, on every corner
Hmm.
because it is going to continue to evolve and grow. And what's cool is that we are growing at a pace that we need more. Like there's a need. So you can't think, oh my gosh, Botox is oversaturated. It's not oversaturated at all. I'm within a mile of probably 10 med spas and Perfect Dose is booming. And it's because we do something different. And so we're actually undersaturated. I don't know if that's a word, but we're undersaturated in
Hmm.
really good med spas like Perfect Dose. So now is the time to get on the bandwagon, because there's going to be a time where you're like, think about hair salons, right? Now you see hair salons everywhere. There was a time where people got into hair salon businesses and they weren't on every corner. And we're kind of like teetering on that with med spas right now. So it's a very exciting time.
Yeah, when we were doing our research, we found that the med spa and the health industry are growing and kind of the big growth areas for the next several years. And it works in every market. Doesn't have to be Phoenix. It can be smaller markets too, because you have a community around that need that kind of services. So it really does fit anywhere, right?
Yes, I think too, something that's important to note is not only does Perfect Dose deliver this customized approach to aesthetics that's very different, but
Mhm.
we're innovative. And so we're at the forefront of regenerative medicine. Everybody's really into
Mm-hmm.
longevity, things that make you younger. So aesthetic treatments are turning regenerative, which is so cool. So
Mm-hmm.
you have a founder that's heavily involved in all of this to make sure Perfect Dose has the latest and greatest and the proper training as well. So you never have to worry about Perfect Dose falling behind on innovation. We're ahead.
Yeah, and since you're talking about that, that's very big in the news right now, that regenerative medicine. So, what do you see are the big breakthroughs and for Perfect Dose in the next decade? Where do you see those opportunities going?
Yeah, so regenerative medicine is really starting to take off. And so Perfect Dose is going to be at the forefront of that, meaning we are going to be integrating fillers and regenerative medicine treatments to give patients the best outcomes. We also we work with peptides. That's something that franchisees can
Mm.
expect over the next 10 years. There's going to be a point where Perfect Dose merges aesthetics and wellness, and that is going to be huge.
Wow. Yeah, that's big. We hear a lot about that in the news. And when you think about restaurants and like you said, the hair salon industry, the senior industry, there's a lot of different industries that have already kind of went through the booming stages and are kind of flattening out, or there's too much in the way of competition in those
Mhm.
spaces. But we're right in front of the wave. And for the next 10, 15, 20 years, we're seeing that really being important as healthcare in general
Mhm.
improves over the next, decade. Think about what AI is going to do for medicine and extending life, and people are going to want to look good and feel good, and you have all of these different treatments. And one of the really neat things about a franchise, especially one that's cutting edge like Perfect Dose and having the founders like Kristen and Steven, is that you see that as things adapt and change and improve, you're going to be, like you said, at the forefront of those things, right? You're going to want to incorporate certain things, and the way it works in franchising is the franchisor get suggestions or ideas from the franchisees, or being that you're connected with the industry directly, you may improve and test some things in a corporate location or two, and then roll it out to a test group. And then if it makes some sense to roll it out to the whole franchise system, then everybody gets to benefit from that. So you're not alone, you're not stuck, you're not stranded. You're at part of a moving company that has the ability to adapt, right? That makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And think about this, like how many mistakes I've made, like buying a new machine that didn't produce any revenue, for example. Like
Right,
you will
right.
not have to worry about that as a franchisee, because we make sure that everything delivers before it even is an option for you. So that's just,
Right.
I think, one of the coolest things about being a franchise owner.
Awesome. And talk a little bit about we already mentioned a little bit about you don't have to be in the medical field to be a franchise owner. So talk a little bit about what that looks like, a day in the life. What does the owner, what are kind of the, the strong attributes of a great owner as far as that goes?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So, to be a successful franchise owner with Perfect Dose, I think ultimately you have to want to make an impact. And if you want to make
Mm,
an impact and deliver the best outcomes to patients, that is number one. So, if your heart is in it and you want to be great, you're an amazing candidate to own and operate a franchise. And it can look different for everyone. There's going to be franchise owners that you want to be so involved. You want to sit up at the front desk and maybe work the front desk for a while. And that is so exciting. You want to be the face. Then there's going to be owners that maybe are really great at people managing and they are going to hire managers and really oversee that and make sure that the SOPs are being executed appropriately. So there's really going to
mhm.
be a range of owners, and you don't have to be a medical provider in order to do this because you have a blueprint of how to run a med spa. So you could be a family man that wants to create that legacy, like I said, and this is your opportunity. So I love that it opens the door for everyone. And without a franchise, maybe you don't have the opportunity to get in this industry. And so it's so
Mhm.
unique and special. And then I'm really excited for the culture and community that we're going to build for franchise owners because that's the most exciting piece. Part of being a business owner that's hard is it can get lonely. You don't have resources.
Mhm.
And as a franchise owner, you do. You have a resource and community, not only with the franchise team through Rick, but through every
Mhm.
Perfect Dose owner. We want to have conferences. We want to have something so special where you're excited to be a part of the Perfect Dose community.
Oh yeah, and we will. That's the fun part. People don't know that I was a franchisor myself, and it was fun to visualize what it looks like to have a room full of people from all over the country that are kind of part of your family and really connect with them and see that when as the brand grows, the stories and supporting each other and being a part of helping more people. It's just a very exciting model that way. One of my favorite things. So what's been your biggest leadership lesson, do you think, as you
You
grow?
know, yeah, I think that my biggest leadership lesson, everybody can, or not everybody, but a lot of people could consider themselves natural leaders, right? You might be someone that raises your hand first in class, or you might
Hmm.
be the person that executes the project, when your teammates don't necessarily do that. But leadership is not being the person that raised your hand first. It's really taking a moment to grow and mentor and coach others, and it doesn't come natural. It's a muscle that I've learned you have to work every day. And so
Hmm.
I work that muscle every day and I try to coach and develop my team to be great. And so, really, to answer your question, I've learned that leadership is so much bigger than you. It's when you sincerely want the success of others more than the success of your own. And I want my team to be like so successful. I want those wins. I hope my patients go see my other providers because that means I did a great job. And that means
Hmm.
that they're doing what I taught them. And so
Yeah.
leadership, I think you said it best, Rick. You told me once servant leadership. That's really how to sum it up.
Yeah. We're sharing a brain now because that's exactly what I was going to say. The servant leadership model, in my opinion, is the strongest and maybe the only model that works for franchising because if somebody wants to be the big shot at the top of the pyramid and rain down, orders to the troops, that's not how it works. Remember, franchise owners are our customers, right? They don't work for us. Yeah, we work for them, and that's really the upside down pyramid that I talk about in the book. Um, that when we take on the responsibility of the company on your shoulders and you're serving up training and coaching and you help them bring on great people and they're trained properly and then ultimately the customers and clients at the top are really getting the best service because everyone below that in the pyramid is serving up to them and making sure they're having a wonderful experience. And that's really what makes franchising work is that servant leader model and that upside down pyramid we talk about in franchise Bibles. So that's what it takes. And we don't work with other people or we don't work with brands that don't have a servant leader model because it's just not going to work. So I'm very excited that you guys believe in that and you do that every day. And that's really
Yeah,
what.
I mean, my goal is going to be to make one of these franchises higher revenue generating than my corporate location. Like that is the kind of leadership I want to execute so that they can be the best business owners possible.
Absolutely. So, what's one piece of advice you'd give entrepreneurs who think they're ready to own a franchise?
Just do it.
Yeah,
We
just
can
do
think
it.
of so many reasons why not, right? We can
Hmm.
think, oh my gosh, I'm nervous and it's a big leap. It's a big jump.
Hmm.
But if you are excited and ready and you have the drive to have a successful business, you want to be a part of a community, you should do it. You should jump on our virtual discovery call and give yourself a chance. Take a chance on yourself.
Right. And you won't be alone. One
Mhm.
thing when you're working for somebody else, it's common that it's always kind of going to work feeling like, I don't know what they think of me and I don't know if I'm doing well or not. And you get your quarterly performance review and if you even get a review. And with a business, you should be excited to get your feet on the floor and get to work. It doesn't feel like work because you love it, and it's a whole different experience. That if you haven't owned your own business, or maybe you did and it wasn't a good experience, it's a whole different experience to be part of a franchise because not only are you excited to get to work, but you're only a phone call away from support. And there's
Mhm.
nothing. I would say it's pretty safe to assume that you've probably seen it all, I would imagine.
Yeah, 100%. And
Yeah.
I really love the blueprint. I think that's the thing I'm most proud of with this franchise opportunity is we have really created a blueprint to execute. And so
Mm.
it's going to be amazing.
Okay, well, we're coming close to the end here, folks. And as Kristen mentioned, you can go to the website, right? And give them the website just so everybody can hear it from you.
Yes, it is www.theperfectdose.com.
Perfect. And there's a franchise tab there where you can learn about the franchise and you can simply request a franchise discovery kit and you'll be invited to a virtual discovery day and you can see Steven's clean, wonderful young face. And we'll do a virtual discovery day. We do them in person so you can get to know the team a little bit and answer your questions and then go through a very step-by-step process because we want people to know and understand the opportunity. You'll never get pressure from us because we're looking for the right people. We're not looking for everyone. We're looking for the right franchise owners. One thing I learned many, many years ago is you want to make sure there's a good fit between the franchise owners and the franchise opportunity because really that's what makes it work. You'll find that systems are easy when you love what you do, and that really makes the magic happen. I had a wonderful experience as a franchisor myself and have experience with franchise owners all over the country, and it's really a fun model. So, let's talk a little bit about we have a couple of meeting or a couple of minutes here. Let's do some fun things. So we call this the lightning round. So just give us
Yay.
a quick answer, whatever rolls off the top of your head. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Tea. What kind?
Yeah. I'd prefer Celsius actually. I'm an energy drink girl, but
Oh
if I
yeah.
was going for tea, I would have an Earl Grey.
There you go. Favorite treatment?
I love Sculptra
Oh,
because it makes your skin glow. I recently got my treatment, so I feel
well,
glow.
looks great. Okay, well, Sculptor might have to send some sponsorship dollars in, huh?
Mhm.
Biggest business pet peeve, not just your business, but any business.
Gosh, biggest business pet peeve. I think for me, it's how you answer the phone. You have to,
Mm,
phone training is my number one. I'll die on a hill with because so many people don't know how to answer the phone, and you need to build a relationship over the phone. It's not just a phone call, it's so much more than that. So that would be my biggest pet peeve is just not answering the phone properly.
yes, mine is getting bad customer service.
Yeah.
I was raised at a different time when customer service was key, and now it just seems like some places don't offer it like they
Yes,
should.
that's true.
Morning person or night owl?
Morning. I am a 5
Yeah.
a.m. club at heart.
Oh,
I love to wake up early, work out, read, get ready for the day.
okay, that's good.
Mhm.
Um, Favorite leadership book, and you don't have to say franchise Bible just because we're on the phone.
I
We're
mean,
on
that's number one, right? I read the whole thing.
the phone.
I recently read a book called Leadership and Self-Deception, and that was
Oh,
incredible. So 10 out of 10 recommend for any
okay,
leader.
okay, good enough.
Mhm.
Most used app on your phone.
Instagram. I
Mm,
am a content creator though. I love it.
yeah.
And so I'm actually not a content consumer. So I
Mm.
my screen time is like making my own videos and talking to myself in the camera on Instagram.
Yes, and if you guys haven't seen her Instagram and YouTube videos, you have to check it out. She's
Thank
got
you.
loads of them. Um, One word your team would use to describe you.
Energetic. I am so energetic and people are surprised when they meet me. They're like, "You're actually like this in real life?" Because I'm like this on Instagram. I'm just myself, but I am full of energy. I probably have undiagnosed ADHD.
I will testify to that. It's hard to keep up with your energy, and that's a good thing. Um, okay, well, let's see. Finish this sentence. The future of aesthetics is.
Regenerative.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Very good. Finish the sentence. The best franchisees always.
Follow the systems.
Oh, yes. Music to my ears. I love it. Okay, so let's see. How do people get a hold of you? So, where do you see the perfect dose in 5 years?
100 locations nationwide. So I see it
Okay,
everywhere in every state across the nation.
wonderful.
We are expanding, and so that's super exciting.
What
Oh,
impact do you hope franchisees have in their communities?
I like I said, I want everybody to make an impact. So I want people to have the best experience, to inspire confidence, create amazing outcomes, and also I'd love for franchise owners to have an impact for themselves or future of their families. I think that's so cool to be able to build something, do something.
Hmm.
It's really really rewarding and incredible.
Yes, we're talking to a woman recently that's looking at getting together her program to start her franchise, and her daughter, her adult daughter, wants to work in the business together. So we see a lot of that legacy already developing. So it's going to be amazing that way. What legacy do you want the brand to leave?
Yeah, that's a great question. I want the legacy of Perfect Dose to be just patient centered. I want people to look at Perfect Dose and say, wow, they are the best and they want the best for everyone because that's
Mhm.
truly why we're here. It's all about patient first, just like our culture's employee first, too, right? And so we just want to make a difference and an impact in the community.
Yeah, and that can't be faked.
No.
Right. That's real and
Mhm.
authentic. Authenticity is really something that you'll experience with Kristen and her team and the whole brand itself. I really can say that from the heart. So, last question. If someone listening today is thinking, I want to own a meaningful business in the growing aesthetic business, uh, what should they consider about
They
the perfect
should
dose?
consider Perfect Dose because that's literally what Perfect Dose is at the core, right? We are a meaningful business, meaning our mission is to inspire confidence, to empower others to look and feel their best. And it's an aesthetic business. And so it's really just starting to take off. I mean, the meaning of perfect dose is like exactly what it sounds like, right? It's your custom perfect dose. So you can come in, get exactly what you need, custom to you, and leave better than you entered.
Very good. Well said. So before we wrap up, let's give them another opportunity to hear about how to get a hold of you. So they're sitting there thinking, this sounds like a great fit, and I want to learn more. Give them the website one more time and a reason to call, or I mean, a reason to sign up for the Discovery Day.
Yes. So, first of all, sign up because Discovery Day is no pressure. You just get to come learn about the perfect dose. So, that's just exciting in itself. You can go to www.theperfectdose.com. That's where you can find the franchising tab for more information.
Perfect. Yes, and we have fun. It's low pressure. We just go through all the different aspects of the franchise, answer questions, and then tell you about next steps if you want to take next steps. It's wonderful. A lot of fun. So, folks, thank you, Kristen, for being here today. And we had another Discovery Day coming up right around the corner. So there's time to sign up for that. We hold at least one a month, and so that's easy to do. And you can also check out the socials when you go to the website. You can click on all those different socials icon, and she does just tons of great things on Instagram and YouTube and stuff. A lot of fun. So go ahead and join us. And everybody, thank you again for joining us for America's Next Big Franchise. I'm Rick Grossmann from Franchise Bible Coach. Thank you again, Kristen. We'll see you guys in the next episode of America's Next Big Franchise. Bye-bye now. Thanks. Thanks, Kristen.
America's Next Big Franchise, sharing strategies to help businesses grow.